The 2019 NFL Draft is the next step in the Dallas Cowboys roster building, and they are getting ready to have a bunch of players in their building over the next month. Between pre-draft visits, the Dallas Days, and the National 30 visits, the Cowboys front office and coaching staff will be busy getting to know players and putting them through workouts to get a better feel for who they are and what they can do. As the list of pre-draft visitors continues to take shape, more and more players will be confirmed for the Dallas Cowboys. The most recent addition is Missouri wide receiver Emanuel Hall. I've had people argue with me that the Dallas Cowboys don't need to draft a wide receiver, and I get where they are coming from. If you look at the wide receivers on the roster, it looks pretty well set for 2019. However, when you consider that Amari Cooper still hasn't received his contract extension and along with Randall Cobb, Allen Hurns, and Tavon Austin, is only signed through this season, you see some glaring holes on the 2020 depth chart at the position. It's long been held that it takes 2 to 3 seasons for wide receivers to find their stride in the NFL, therefore if you're anticipating having a needed wide receiver in the 2020 offseason, might as well plan and get those guys in your system now. In this space we've already looked at Oklahoma wide receiver Marquise Brown and Iowa State wide receiver Hakeem Butler, and today I want to bring you another wideout from a Midwestern university, Missouri wide receiver Emanuel Hall. Hall is slated to be one of the Dallas Cowboys' 30 national pre-draft visitors at the Star in April, so I thought it would be a good idea to bring him to your attention. For this review, I took a look at his tape from his games against Oklahoma State, Georgia 2017, Florida 2017, and Florida 2018. In 3 games against the top of the SEC East, Georgia and Florida, Emanuel Hall posted a combined 13 receptions for 330 yards, 25.4 yards per reception, and 3 touchdowns, 2 against Georgia in 2017. Hall isn't always quick off of the snap but is able to quickly beat press coverage with a good footwork and quickness after the snap. In press coverage, rarely allows himself to get jammed. Has speed to threaten defense downfield. Is able to get by the cornerback quickly on go routes. Required a lot of safety attention on the perimeter. Ran the go, out, short curl, slant, and post routes. Pretty good route runner that was able to create separation. Needs to be more precise on his out route. His best routes were the go and the slant route. Good adjustments to the ball when in the air. Turns body and uses hands to come back to the ball when thrown behind him in the route. Effective in short area on slants as well as down the field on go and post routes. Hall shows good body control on balls that are underthrown or thrown behind him. Uses his hands to make catches and rarely lets the ball into his body. Uses good body positioning to shield the defender away from the ball. Is able to make the basket catch down the field. Good sideline awareness. Played on both sides of the offense and was able to run routes in every direction. Was seldom used in the slot or put in motion. Not a very willing blocker. Needs to be more engaged in the running game. Adding a bit more bulk should help in his effectiveness. Never played a full season while at Missouri due to injury. How he fits with the Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have an interesting mix of wide receivers on the squad and they have a lot of experience. They don't, however, have a player that is a natural and pure deep threat like Emanuel Hall is. He can line up on both sides of the formation and even run some deep routes from the slot. Hall's athleticism and speed would be excellent downfield assets, which would open up a ton of space in the short and intermediate parts of the field for Cooper, Gallup, and the tight end groups. But he won't get the respect out of the gate that Amari Cooper and Ezekiel Elliott receive from opposing defenses. He's a player that you have to account for, because he can beat you deep in an instant. He'd be best served as a wire X receiver, coming in when the Dallas Cowboys go into 3 or more wide receiver formations, which they ran more than 70% at the time in 2018. Hall on the outside could allow the Cowboys to use Amari Cooper in the slot while keeping Michael Gallup on the outside. summary, the Dallas Cowboys need to look to continue building their wide receiver group of the future, and that starts with this deep draft class. Emanuel Hall is a really good player, but in a deep wide receiver class won't be drafted until the 3rd or 4th round because of his injury history. Teams may not see him as much more than a deep threat, but he's a really good deep threat. For someone who has the speed and athleticism that Hall possesses, he'd be a great value if the Cowboys are able to land him with one of their 4th-round picks. It's no secret the Cowboys are in the market for defensive backs in the 2019 NFL Draft. Looking to improve at safety and potentially at cornerback, they may end up targeting some defensive backs with position versatility. Virginia's Juan Thornhill might just have that versatility, and it appears the Cowboys have noticed. This week Thornhill made news by listing the Cowboys in his scheduled pre-draft visits, according to Andrew Disecco. Juan Thornhill said he has visits scheduled with the Cowboys, Chargers, Rams, Bills and the Seahawks. Thornhill was the star of the combine in terms of safeties, running a 4.42 40-yard dash and having a 141-inch broad jump. Athletically, Thornhill tests similarly to guys like Obi Melifonwu, Marshawn Lattimore, and even Byron Jones. All three of which are athletically freaky defensive backs. On film, Thornhill looks most like he'll be a cover 3 safety or corner in the NFL, but with his traits and abilities there's also a chance the Cowboys could use him in the box, particularly in coverage against tight ends. He's a smart player against both the run and pass, with good play recognition and the ability to act on that recognition as well. He's not an overly physical player, or a particularly great tackler, but he projects favorably enough in these areas to be used in the box at the next level, as he often was in college. This versatility is likely intriguing to the Cowboys, and I could see them projecting Thornhill into that rookie-year Byron Jones role, where he plays primarily in the box and is matched up in man coverage with tight ends. As the Dallas Cowboys near the draft, the list of players that will visit the Star in Frisco, Texas will begin to come together. A new name can be added to the list in the form of Missouri wide receiver Emanuel Hall. According to Bobby Belt, Hall is slated to be one of the Dallas Cowboys visitors from their allotted 30 national visits. I'm told Missouri WR Emanuel Hall is one of Dallas' top 30 invites as well. Athletic freak who blew up the combine. Over 20 yards per reception over his 4-year career with the Tigers. Hall enters the draft after an electric career at the University of Missouri that saw him average more than 20 yards per reception on 97 career receptions in his 4 seasons with the Tigers. A junior in 2017, Hall averaged 24.8 yards per reception on 33 his receptions. In 2018, he had 37 receptions for 828 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 22.8 yards per reception. He's an electric athlete that combines size and speed to win down the field. At nearly 6'2" and 201 pounds, he ran a 4.39 40-yard dash. Among wide receivers, he was in the 99th percentile for broad jump and 98th percentile for vertical jump. His wingspan put him in the 85th percentile at his position group. So for those of you, and me, that like Marquise Brown that are hoping for a speed element for the Dallas Cowboys at pick 58, Hall might be the cheaper option. With more size, with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and Randall Cobb expected to be the starters in 11 personnel, the Dallas Cowboys could use a player with Hall's speed element. Tavon Austin has speed, but he lacks size to make contested catches down the field. Cooper has size, but isn't really known for his athleticism as much as he's known for his rude running and speed. As a player, Emanuel Hall reminds me of former Dallas Cowboys receiver Bryce Butler, but in a good way. Butler had the ability to get downfield with his speed and the size and athleticism to make contested catches. The difference being Butler never had the production to go with his athletic ability. Even in college, the Cowboys like receivers with Hall's size and speed. If there's one thing missing from the Dallas Cowboys passing offense, it's a player that can threaten a defense vertically like Hall can. The fact that he's coming to visit the star means that the Dallas Cowboys are very interested in adding his ability to their team. Each of us should be clamoring for this downfield weapon as well. With all of the attention paid to Amari Cooper and Ezekiel Elliott, there will be opportunities galore to hit teams for big plays over the top. The Cowboys need to pull the trigger on this athletic and speedy wideout. AP photo, David Zalabowski. Despite signing veteran safety George Iloka last week, the Cowboys will still be going safety hunting during the 2019 NFL Draft. Dallas now has 3 legit starting options on their safety depth chart in Iloka, Jeff Heath, and Xavier Woods. But outside of Woods, these safeties each tend to be better in smaller doses. If the Cowboys want to deploy more 3 safety looks on defense, or even just want to find a better long-term starter than Iloka or Heath, they'll likely be able to find this player at 58th overall. But what type of safety should the Cowboys be looking for? Should they target a center fielder that can shoulder the free safety load, in turn giving Woods less snaps at safety and more at slot cornerback? Or should they go after more of a strong safety, making Woods the full-time center fielder, and playing this new draftee in the box? Let's examine. First, think about the current status of the Cowboys' secondary. In theory, they could go without drafting any defensive backs this year and start with the group they currently have for 2019. This would be a solid group, and one you'd expect to be improved from last year. After 2019, however, Byron Jones, George Iloka, and Anthony Brown would all be free agents. Jordan Lewis and Chidobe Awuzie will always be entering the final year of the deal. Sure, 4 of those 5 names are cornerbacks, but their status has an impact on how the Cowboys look at their safety depth as well. Brown and Lewis each played primarily in the slot last season, a place where Xavier Woods also gained experience during his rookie year. Regardless of what the Cowboys do regarding Woods' future at free safety, they will likely be looking to find a slot cornerback within the next 2 off-seasons. That guy could be on their roster already, if they re-sign Anthony Brown or Jordan Lewis, or it could be someone in this year's draft class. If Brown or Lewis are in their future plans, then Xavier Woods will likely be staying at safety through the 2019 season and beyond. And considering he's the best and youngest safety of the Cowboys' current crop, they have to ask themselves which type of safety would best complement his abilities. The answer: a run-stopping box safety who can cover tight ends and offer versatility around the line of scrimmage. Ironically, a player with the skill set of someone like recent Washington Redskins signee Landon Collins would help take this defense to the next level. They missed out on Collins, though, due to his wild price tag, and now must hunt in the draft to find that type of player. Is it Mississippi State's Jonathan Abram? Well, while the draft media seems to love him as high as the first round, I have reservations about just how high his ceiling actually is. Abrams' tackling isn't very consistent, and his coverage abilities leave much to be desired. Yes, he is a thumper, but that will only get you so far in today's NFL. To me, the perfect fit for this safety spot opposite Xavier Woods looks to be Washington's Taylor Rapp. Rapp is a sure tackler who can cover tight ends, and will be excellent in the box for a team with a need like the Cowboys have. He may not have the deep safety range teams often look for when drafting a safety in the first 2 rounds, but Rapp and Woods would complement each other very well.